All right, we are live. This is Talking Movies with Sean, Kenny, and Jim, and I am Sean.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Jim.
And tonight we have our special guest, Bryan, also known as the Horror Punk. Welcome
Hey guys,
aboard.
going.
Welcome back, Bryan.
Thank you.
From
Nice
parts
to be here.
unknown. And we've got Bryan on tonight because our topic is top 5-ish slasher movies. Because if we all picked our top 5 slasher movies of all time, we probably would have very, very similar lists, and it would be kind of a boring show. So we've all done something a little bit different. So we all have lists of 5 slasher movies that are probably going to be a little different, if not entirely different. And Bryan is our resident expert on all things horror, and he probably has 5 or more on his list that we haven't heard of. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's why we brought him in for tonight.
Kind of hard to do that, but I picked a few.
Yeah. So, but one thing we did want to get from Bryan tonight is what slasher movies have been around for quite a while. They've been around since, I mean, if you want to count Psycho or what was the other one that came before it? Peeping Tom.
Peeping Tom,
yeah. What would you say makes a slasher movie good?
You definitely want suspense. You want your story build up. You don't want to. You might even want to be like, you don't know who the killer is until like the very end. You'll see who the killer is at the end. It just build up over time. You don't want it to be predictable. There's a lot of slashers out there that you already know who the killer is just by the cover art of the film. Like for an example, obviously, I mean, I'm sure everybody already knows about Nightmare on Elm Street. You already know who the killer is, obviously.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I like campy horror, like 80s. That's probably my favorite time period of slasher films. I do enjoy the newer ones as well. I think when I started watching slasher films, I would stick with the 80s, and then obviously some of the 90s as well, and then more modern stuff like I was, for example, I just watched Hard Eyes for the first time.
I'm sorry. What you could have
Heart Eyes.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, it was decent. I didn't say I think I did a review on it. My last video was a review video. I said I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it.
Right.
Because it was predictable. But I thought the kills were pretty cool, though.
Yeah, that's like a hybrid movie, right? That's like half horror movie, half rom-com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely what you want. Good kills as well in a slasher film. Because I've seen a few that have like a lot of kills that are off screen, and you're like, that was kind of lame.
Yeah.
See someone gets sliced, and you just see like blood splatter against like a window or like the wall or something.
It's like a cop out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they ran out of money or something making the movie.
Right. Trying to get that PG-13 rating.
Right. That too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to say hi to the guys in the chat. We've got Mr. Dan and Mike already. And
how's it going, guys?
Patrick. Hey,
Patrick.
So one thing that you said there that I think is interesting. So you said that a good slasher movie won't reveal the killer to the end, but we've got the slasher movies, like you mentioned, like Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween and Friday the 13th, where you've got the killer is automatically known, and the killer is sort of the more or less the hero, the anti-hero, the reason you go see that movie. So what makes those type of slashers different and good from, say, something like Psycho?
Well, you're also getting to know the characters too. Like, why, how are they the way that they are? What made them be the person that they are? Like, obviously, Norman Bates had some weird relationship with his mother. She was overbearing, always telling him, what he could and couldn't do, and then that just drives you you can start to like sympathize for this individual. up to a certain point, and then you're like, okay, they snapped, and that's how they are, and you're just like, that person really needs health. They have mental health problems, and they really need help.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just curious what your thoughts were on that. Because, a lot of like we were talking before the show about like conventions like Texas Frightmare Weekend, and going to a show like that, you've literally got people walking around with tattoos of killers on their arms.
Oh yeah, of course.
And
I do too.
yet, well, yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just interesting because they are some of the most sane and peaceful people that you will ever meet.
I've met a bunch of people at horror conventions that are my friends. So
Yeah. But looking from the outside, like my wife, for example, who does not understand the horror genre at all, she's like, "Oh my God, look at those people!" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's my people."
That's right. Absolutely.
But I was telling her about the people at the convention. They're completely tolerant of each other. There was so many people who were openly out, trans, queer, all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Totally accepting, and this was in the middle of Texas, so it's like there was a little kid, and she looked up to her mom, and she's, "Mommy, when can I go say hi to more killers?" It was, and if you hear that out of context, you're thinking, "Oh my God, what are they doing?" But it's just sort of one of those incongruities that I think is hilarious about the horror community, that we sit and watch people get murdered on screen and enjoy it, and yet that's about as far away from what we are as people.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, some people just don't get it. And I think that's one of the misunderstandings about horror fans, that they're all weirdos that sit around sharpening knives in their basement. And that's the least far thing, furthest thing from. Well, maybe you know something I don't, Bryan, but I don't.
No, I don't. I definitely don't do any of that. No.
Just kidding.
Growing up in the 80s.
I even feel bad if I run over like a rabbit or like a squirrel or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, being a kid in the 80s, you couldn't escape slasher movies, especially in the early part of the 80s. I mean, they were just every week, 1, 2, 3, every week coming out for like a 2 or 3 year stretch at least. But like, to your point, Sean, I'm not a violent person at all. I've never been a violent person. I hate violence, real violence.
Right.
Doesn't mean I don't want to see somebody getting disemboweled on screen by Jason.
Right.
I mean, I'm all for it. My mom used to always be like, "How could you watch that disgusting stuff?" And I'm like, "Because it's disgusting stuff."
Yep.
It's as simple as that.
Yep. And I also don't think that it, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, brain not working. Hardens you or desensitizes you to real life violence and crimes against humanity and stuff like that. And in fact, it makes it more so, that you're more sensitive to that. I could watch, I don't know how many Tom Savini movies where axe goes through a head or a shotgun blows somebody's head off. Right. See the real thing. It's not anywhere near the same, and it makes you violently ill, at least me, if you see the real thing. It's totally different.
Well, my wife will sit there and she'll watch these medical shows where they're like literally doing, brain surgery, for instance. Okay. And she's just munching on chips watching this shit. And I'm like, blah. But yet you put Halloween on and it'll be like one drop of blood. But because there's scary sound effects in the background, and it's fake, but because of those scary sound effects, suddenly, no, I can't watch this. I mean, really? You'd rather watch the real thing?
Right.
I've never understood that.
Yeah. My wife totally doesn't get horror, but what does she watch recreationally? She watches true crime stuff on Discovery ID all day long. And, they're the ones that show the crime scene photos that are all blurred out.
But you can still figure it out.
Stuff. Yeah, but you know what happened, and they talk about it in grisly detail. That's what she relaxes to. So, I don't know.
Sleep with one eye open, Jack.
Right, exactly. They teach you that, if you put eye drops in somebody's coffee over a long period of time, it'll start to, make them sleepy or unconscious or something. Start, marking the levels on my eye drops. Oh boy. Anyway, I didn't want to derail everything, but I just sort of wanted to kind of set the mood for the evening.
Set the mood.
We're not all weird.
No.
Well, we're weird, but not that weird. Anyway. So, well, guess we'll start off tonight with the lists. And Kenny, we usually start with you since you're in the top right-hand corner.
Okay.
That works.
I'll
So,
just let everybody know I am a newbie to the horror genre. I've only been doing this probably like a year and a half, 2 years. So if my list stinks,
No.
don't come at me, yo. Okay.
Yeah.
The only way your list will stink is if Uncle Buck is on it.
Yeah, Uncle Buck did not. Uncle Buck or Star Wars did not make this list, unfortunately.
Then you're good to go, my friend.
Okay. So
hey, there was an arm cut off in Star Wars, so
That's
yeah,
true.
well, that wasn't until number 3.
Well, there's the first one
Yeah.
in the
In the
cantina scene.
bar.
Oh, the canteen. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Screw that.
I thought you were talking about Luke.
Luke's parents,
No.
or Luke's adopted parents, were thrown in a bonfire. I mean,
Yeah.
there you go.
Their smoldering skeletons were.
You don't have to bring out the beautiful horrors of Star Wars.
There you go.
Star horrors.
So my first one is one. I forget who turned me on to it. I think it might have been Stuart over in the UK, Stuart George, and it's from 1980, Dressed to Kill with Michael Caine. He loves Michael Caine, so he talked about it, and man, that movie is great. That movie is like, you kind of had an idea from the beginning what was going on, but just everything that went through everything with it. It was fantastic. And what Nancy Allen? Is it Nancy Allen?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here's my Criterion, Kenny.
Oh, okay, there you go. I don't have the Criterion one. I have. I think I got a. I forget which one it was, but it did have like extra stuff in it. But man, I really
Kino re-released.
Kino,
Right?
yes, it was a Kino. Yeah. And I really enjoyed that movie a lot. And Michael Caine is great in that movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah, that's like an American Giallo.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's a good pick.
It's
Such
great.
a good movie. That's a great pick.
Yeah.
I brought it out here just in case.
Oh, okay.
If nobody else picked it, I was going to. Because, that Dressed to Kill is one of De Palma's best. It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
It's so well shot, too.
Yeah.
You know?
Very good.
Yeah.
Dan likes it. He's got the Kino.
It might have been Mr. Dan I watched talk about it. I forget. Because you watch so many YouTubers and you write it down. I'm going to have to start putting everything down, like who told me about it, you know?
Yeah.
Because if it's like horror or something, it's usually Bryce and Bryan that tell me about it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool.
And it also inspired Body Double.
oh, that's another great one too.
Yeah,
Yep.
because of the Angie Dickinson having a stand-in for the shower scene.
Yeah, Angie,
And that's where De Palma got the idea for Body Double.
yeah,
Nice.
Angie, that I forgot to mention her. Angie Dickinson was great in that. And I didn't really know who Angie Dickinson was because it was just like she was like the Rat Pack's like friend.
Police woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I knew her from Policewoman, and I knew her when she used to go on because Carson always used to have her on and was like trying to hit on her like all the time.
Yeah.
on the Tonight Show, but I never really like watched any of her movies per se. You know,
I got
Bad
three.
Mama.
I was gonna say I got 3 words for you. Big Bad Mama.
oh, I never seen that.
Oh, you got to
Captain
see that.
Kirk in a bathtub, man.
Yep.
Oh, okay. It's called Big Bad Mama.
Ralph Melf gets laid in that movie too.
Does he really? Don't be a potsy. Big Bad
Everybody
Mama.
gets laid in Big Bad Mama.
All
Hey,
right.
Texas.
No, Dress to Kill is a great movie.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
Keith Gordon
Gordon,
too.
yeah.
You got to mention Keith Gordon
Oh yeah, Keith Gordon.
because that was like
Yeah.
the first. I think that was the first movie I ever saw Keith Gordon in. You know, that was definitely before Christine.
Mm-hmm.
I seen him in Back to School before.
Yeah,
Dressed to Kill 81,
80.
Dress to Kill was 80.
80. Okay.
Same summer as Friday the 13th.
Okay. 'Cause that was an HBO staple
Yeah.
for a while. Yeah. I haven't seen it in a long time. I just picked it up. I think I got the Criterion off eBay, but I haven't watched it lately.
Yeah, it was one of the first Criterions I ever bought. I do. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right, Jim, you're up.
No, actually, go ahead, Brian. We'll
do Bryan. Okay.
Yeah,
I got
we'll
that.
go clockwise.
Well, I'll
Okay.
stick with 1980 then because I was going to talk about
There's a lot from
Friday the
1980.
13th.
All right.
So I watched this probably when I was 12, maybe 13 years old.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I wanted to watch them in order because they were all. I think it was up to like number 9 at that point. So I wanted to watch the first one, and in my mind I'm like, "Where's Jason?" Because I'd seen Jason in like the other movies, and I was like, "He's not in this film." But obviously, you can't have this movie without the others. So that's why I picked it as my the first one to start off the stack with. So it's like okay, what's going on? Who's killing all these counselors? And you find out it's mom playing her revenge on trying to keep the camp from reopening because she lost her son when he drowned because they weren't watching her kid.
Yep.
She's a little cuckoo.
Little?
Just a little. Just a little cuckoo. But then you sympathize with her. You're like, yeah, I know. She had a son that was, I don't want to say he was autistic. Maybe
He's
he
definitely
was.
special needs of some
Special
kind.
needs,
Yeah.
of course, yes. And yeah, the counselor should have been watching him with what he was going through, but they wanted to do, teenager things, and yeah.
Yep.
We weren't doing nothing. We were just.
Yeah, exactly. But you can't have Friday the 13th if Halloween never happened because they wanted to rip off Halloween with this film. So
Right.
Yep.
there you go.
I remember going to see that theatrically in 1980 because I had seen stills from it in Famous Monsters of Filmland in black and white, so I couldn't see the full color because it was before Fangoria was out. And the one with the axe in the head,
Yep, axe in the face.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I tried to talk my dad into going to see it, and he called my bluff, and he took me to see it.
Nice.
So I was in 6th grade, and I was like mortified. I was like sitting there waiting for technically it's not that bad, like jump scare wise.
It's pretty tame compared
Pretty
to
tame
other
by
stuff.
today's standards, yeah. But I was mortified. Like I thought I was going to jump through the ceiling. But yeah, when I felt like that the axe to the head scene was coming on, I suddenly had to go to the bathroom. Went out into the lobby, and then I was peeking through the curtains at the top of the aisle.
Mhm.
But I did see it theatrically. I made it through the rest of the kills. But that's a great pick.
Yeah, the
It's a
Kevin
classic.
Bacon kill scene still holds up
Yeah.
45
Oh, yeah,
years later. It's just,
Yeah.
it's one of those iconic moments in horror history,
Yep.
Yeah.
It's nice to see him still in the genre today.
Yeah. And he doesn't distance himself from either the genre or the film. He'll own up to it every time.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Oh,
is
yeah.
awesome. That's great.
Well, I mean, think about it. Your first 2 movies as a young actor are iconic. Animal House and Friday the 13th.
Right.
I mean, 2 for 2, kid. So.
All right, Jim, what you got?
Okay. Well, Brian just mentioned that there would be no Friday the 13th without Halloween. The one that I chose came out a year after Halloween, 1981, and it's pretty iconic in its own right, but it's a direct rip-off of Friday the 13th, okay? Right down to the college counselors getting taken out one by one. I'm talking about The Burning. This thing is known for a couple of things, okay? Number one, the effects work from Tom Savini is unbelievable. There's a scene, a raft scene where Cropsy the killer kills, about a dozen kids on a raft, and it's one of the most graphic things ever. I saw this thing at the drive-in, okay? A little backstory. Saw it at the drive-in. My brother and his girlfriend took me and my buddy to see this at the drive-in. This was the second movie. First movie was over. They got out of the front seat, got in the back, kicked me and my friend up to the front, and then this movie started, okay? About the time that the iconic raft scene happened, I turned around to go, yo, John, look at this. And all I saw was my brother's bare ass bouncing up and down after his girlfriend. And that explained why my friend was too busy doing this the entire time, just looking straight forward and trying to tune out everything going on in the back, okay? So, yeah, that's a memory I'll never forget, okay? But in addition to those great effects, okay, there's two things that stand out to me about this movie. Number one, the cast, okay? Mm-hmm. You've got a very young, Jesus, now my brain just went dead. You got Holly Hunter in this. Fisher Stevens is in this. George Costanza himself, Jason Alexander's in this. He's got hair, okay?
Yeah.
Brian Matthews was in... Brian Backer was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He was the main kid who worked in the movie theater. He's the main kid. He's the final girl in this movie. And that's the other thing that stands out about this movie. The final girl is a boy.
Yep.
That is very rare in slashers. Normally, it's a girl that's getting chased around or a woman. She's usually the last one standing. In this case, it's a boy who's being chased most of the time. If you've never seen The Burning, check it out. It is awesome.
There is, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, there is a theory that The Burning was in production before Friday the 13th. You heard that?
No, I think it was filmed right after.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
I remember. I think that's I talked to Tom Savini a little bit when I met him.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was like right after they did it.
Okay.
Yeah, right after.
Because I've heard stories that like the script was done before Friday.
Maybe the script was, but I know they filmed it after Friday.
Oh, there is another notorious thing that movie is. I forgot to mention. It's one of the first, if not the first, Harvey Weinstein produced movies. That was a Miramax movie.
True.
Yep,
that is true. Yes.
Yep.
So, but we won't hold it against it. It's still a great movie.
Yeah. All right. I will start with Brian. You said you love campy horror.
Mm-hmm.
I got Blood Rage.
Blood Rage, yes, definitely. Everybody's favorite Thanksgiving slasher. Yes,
exactly. Starring Louise Lasser in probably one of the most psychotic performances I've seen committed to film. Mark Soper in a twin performance as Todd and Terry. And it's basically these two twins. One is blamed for a murder when they were, I think, 10 years old and gets institutionalized. And flash forward to when they're I think they're just in high school. He escapes from the institution. He really didn't do anything. The real killer is the one that's been out of the institution. And it's either the most self-aware parody of horror films ever, or it's just a complete, just terrible movie, but I love it. It's not cranberry sauce.
Yeah, one thing we can confirm, it's not cranberry sauce.
Yes.
I forgot all about that until you mentioned that.
But it's, I don't know. It's got the performance from Louise Lasser is really what I would recommend it to see, because there's a scene in it where she's yelling at the phone operator for like, it feels like 10 minutes. She's trying to complete a phone call. And it's like she's been told her direction was just lose your mind for 10 minutes on film. It's totally crazy. But yeah, it is known for being the Thanksgiving horror film. It was shot in 1983, but it wasn't released until 1987. And I believe this was on Jim Bob, The Last Drive-In. Joe Bob, sorry.
That's got like 3 different titles too, I believe, right?
Yeah. The one is actually hard-coded on the film, but I can't remember what it is. But you see it when you watch the film. And yeah, I can't remember what it is. But It's a cult classic, definitely worth seeing. Thanks for correcting me, Jim. I feel like an idiot. But yeah, Blood Rage.
Nightmare at Shadow Woods.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
right. That is
Yeah.
correct.
Doesn't roll off the tongue like Blood Rage.
No.
Nice pick.
Sorry, I was
Thanks.
trying to find something here. That's right.
Nice pick.
Thanks.
Never heard of it.
I saw that at the Alamo the first time I actually watched it. They were doing like a Terror Tuesday, I think, around November. And then Arrow released a really nice edition, so I picked it up.
Yeah, I found it cheap at there's a place near here. It's about 45 minutes away. It's a buy sell trade. And I found the Arrow for $8.
Very nice. Very nice.
So I grabbed it. Thank you, Texas.
Okay.
Hey, Sarah. Hey, Stacy.
Hey, Sarah. Hi, Stacy.
Hey, girls.
All right, Kenny, you're up.
All right. I just want to let everybody know, for you Tubi nuts, Big Bad Mama 1 and 2 are available on Tubi for streaming. So I will be watching that.
That is why he's the king of yams.
Yeah. In the near future. I've never heard of either one of them before. So
Roger Corman Exploitation Gold.
Yep.
That's all you need to know.
And if you like them, they're on Blu-ray in a double set from Scream Factory or Shout Factory.
Speaking of yams, I watched this one on Joe Bob Briggs's last drive-in last year, and it's a beautiful movie called Slumber Party Massacre.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I almost brought that one out here too.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Jim.
No. I brought a big stack out here because I figured some of the mainstream ones that you would pick, you wouldn't have a physical copy of. So I was holding like Dress to Kill. I was holding it up just please do, because I watched it on Joe Bob Briggs and I laughed my ass off on it. Yeah, it's great. That movie's
terrible acting, just 80s cheese fest and great kills. The garage is fantastic. I love the garage scene.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So and then the girl with everybody's living room in 1980s that she like calls and then she like goes over with her sister. Was it her sister? Because she wasn't invited to the party with the other girls.
It's been a while. I've seen it.
It's been a minute since it was last year.
The one who lives up the street.
Yeah. So I recommend that one. It's called Slumber Party Massacre.
They remade that one, I think, a couple years ago. It's not really a remake. It's more of like a continuation of the first film. I found it to be just okay. I didn't really care for it too much, but the guy that was the killer reprised his role.
Oh.
And then I think he passed away last year, from what I remember.
And you guys will please correct me if I'm wrong. I think Slumber Party Massacre was directed by a woman.
Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Joe Bob's. This ain't my knowledge. Joe Bob had talked about, wasn't it Roger Corman? She had started with Roger Corman.
Yep.
Yeah. So
and it was like a feminist type take on it, but then he was like, "That's fine, but you still need boobs."
Yeah.
So that's why there was still boobs in it. But yeah.
So
and Corman was good about that. Corman would basically give his people free reign as long as they stayed under budget and they delivered X amount of boobs, or car crashes, whatever. And that was the formula.
Yep.
What was that movie he did? Wasn't it Humanoids from the Deep?
Yep. Another one directed by a woman.
Yeah, that had like.
And then he added a bunch of boobs too.
I wasn't. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So, wow. Okay, that's pretty interesting. But yeah, that's my second pick.
Yeah. God bless Roger Corman. That guy was.
All right, Brian.
I'm going to pick another one that y'all probably have seen before. I'm going to go ahead and stick with a classic here, Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
What can I say about Sleepaway Camp that no one's talked about before? That ending. Everybody loves the ending.
Yeah.
don't want to do a spoiler, but yeah.
Should we insert the crying game music right now?
Yeah, there you go. There you
It's
go.
just that growl, man.
The classic face.
Yeah.
I actually met her a couple years ago. She's a very nice lady, Felissa.
Mhm.
Very, very fun. Very, what's the word I'm looking for? People think she's flirty, but she's really not. She's just very
Outgoing.
happy. She's a very outgoing, happy, nice person. So
Yeah. She seems like she would be.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, this movie's campy. It's very 80s. You got your crop tops. Just the dialogue in this film. It's crazy, you know. Eat shit and die, Bill. Or eat shit and die. Eat shit and die, Ricky. Eat shit and live, Bill. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll never forget my brother John coming home because he saw that movie at the drive-in. I didn't. He came home and he was like, dude, you would not believe this piece of shit I just watched. And he
Really?
described in detail that ending. Okay, so it was spoiled for me before I saw it. But then when it came out on cable before video, I think I saw it on cable, and I watched it, and yeah, I hate to admit it, he basically described it perfectly. I mean, most people love that movie. They do.
Yeah.
I don't, because I'm convinced if it wasn't for that ending, that movie would have been forgotten about 6 months after it came out.
Yeah.
But because of that ending, and it's a genius ending, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a genius ending, but that's what made that movie have the shelf life that it ended up having. Let's put it that way, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know that movie's beloved. Everybody loves that movie, man. So yeah, good for you.
Yeah, great pick.
But yeah, that damn growl, I still can't figure that shit out. What the fuck? You know?
I think I remember watching the behind the scenes. They actually had a male stand in for that scene, like from obviously from the neck down. It was her face, but from the neck down, it was a male.
Yeah, old cut and paste before cut and paste was a thing.
Yeah.
Mike threw in a pick in the chat. Movie that freaked me out as a kid was that one with Brooke Shields.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Alice, Sweet Alice.
Yes.
I have not seen that one. I will have to add that to my list.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird one. It's a good one. Okay, I'm up.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sure this one's going to be on somebody's list, but I got to mention it because this one is my favorite one of all time. And I've got a pretty special relationship with this movie. The original Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984.
Yeah.
Yep.
Directed by Wes Craven, starring John Saxon, Ronnie Blakely, Heather Langenkamp, and introducing Johnny Depp. And Robert Englund, of course, is Freddy Krueger. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. I'll make it quick. I worked in a movie theater for years, and part of my job was putting movies together and taking them apart on Thursday nights because we would open new movies on Fridays. And we got Nightmare on Elm Street day one. I put it together, waited until the place closed, snuck back in because insurance wouldn't cover me being there. I was a minor at the time, and watched a Nightmare on Elm Street in an empty theater after hours by myself at about 1 o'clock in the morning. And then had to go downstairs and turn the goddamn boiler off, which that alone was one of the most terrifying things of my life.
Yeah.
But that movie terrified me. Maybe it was because of the circumstances involved with that viewing. I don't know. But it's truly the last time I ever saw a movie and I was scared. There's been times since that I've jumped, and there's been times since that I've been like, oh God, this is giving me the creeps. But that is truly the last time I saw a movie that terrified me. And it's just a great movie. So that's why I had to pick Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's a good pick.
It's a great
Good
pick.
movie.
Yeah. There's one scene in that movie. I think all the classic movies have at least one scene that sticks in your brain, regardless of how the movie was. And the scene where he's walking down the alleyway with his arms out, with the elongated arms.
Yep.
that just creeped the shit out of me when I was a kid when I saw it for the first time.
Yep.
Going back and watching it now, it doesn't look as good as I remember,
Yeah.
but it still creeped the shit out of me when I was a kid. And it's just one of those instances where it was something that they caught from that dream-like nightmare
Yep.
thing that's in your head that it's just not quite right. That's a dream thing that just freaks you out. And that got under my skin and I've never forgotten it. I don't know why. Just the imagery.
The tongue coming out of the phone was the thing that literally almost had me shit my pants. I mean, I screamed. I mean, again, I was in an empty theater, but I screamed and then started laughing, because it was just like, oh my God, I mean, because again, I was a 16-year-old kid and, I watched plenty of horror movies and plenty of slashers, but that one, again, it might have just been because of the circumstances involved, but oh my God, it just, from the very beginning to the very end, well, up until the point where Nancy's mom gets pulled through the fucking door, because even then I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Outside of that, that's a perfect movie in my opinion. I love it.
It's a great one.
What got me the most from that movie probably be when he's in the boiler room going after Nancy and his knives just kind of just screech against the boiler pipes.
The pipes, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one, Kenny?
Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, I've seen the first 3.
Okay.
Other than that, no.
That's really all you need.
That's really all you need. Yeah.
I mean, I like them all to a certain degree. Well, most of them to a certain degree, but the first 3 are really all you need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then maybe Freddy versus Jason.
I watched those 2 that you had recommended: Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X. Yeah, I watched those.
Those are a totally different animal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right, it's my turn, huh?
Yep.
All right, I am going to pick a Halloween movie, but it's not this one. It's this one from 2018.
As long as it ain't Halloween Ends, we're good.
No, it's not Halloween Ends. The last 3 Halloween movies didn't need to be made at all.
Correct.
But this one is good.
Correct.
I will give it credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
If they're going to, what was that, Brian?
It's the best one of the new trilogy.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It flushed all the crappy sequels from the 80s down the toilet, retconned them out of existence, all the 90s sequels, the H2O, all that, picked up right where the original left off. Well, not right where, but however many
Those
years
characters
after.
anyways.
Yeah, the characters totally retconned the however many appearances Jamie Lee Curtis has made as Laurie Strode. Walked all that back and brought the characters where they should have been and ended it perfectly, and that should have been it.
Yep. I agree.
This is a great modern horror film with the Halloween characters. The kills are great. The character of Michael Myers is done justice. I think they should have just stopped right there. And I don't know. I really thought they should have stopped there. I thought they were going to stop there. And the next 2 movies got progressively worse.
Yeah.
by like, I don't know, 100% worse each time. But this was really good, and I'm surprised they were made by the same people. It doesn't even seem like the same people were involved. I don't know. They made this one and got lucky. I don't know what happened, but I don't know. It says on the back, hands down the best Halloween sequel ever, and that is totally true. So
I still love Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2.
Yeah.
Because that one is if you throw all the other bullshit out, that one is a direct continuation of the story of the original. Right. And I like that. I mean, it does. It starts right where the first one ends.
It does, yeah.
And that one, the way that one ends, they could have ended it right then and there, and it would have,
yeah. But
which
even
is what
that
the
one,
original intent was.
Yeah. That one, even that one felt like a money grab, though, because it was kind of pointless.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
How do you guys feel about Season of the Witch? Some people
love
love it. Some
Oh, I
people
love
hate
Season
it.
of the Witch.
I
I
love
didn't
it.
when it came out, but I love it
Oh, yeah,
now.
me too. I thought I was like, "Where's Michael?" You know,
Right. Yeah. I remember my cousin and I went to the movies, and we were gonna both go see Halloween 3, and I chickened out.
Hmm.
And I went to see, I forget what it was called. It was some collection of horror movie clips.
Tales
Uh,
or Terror in the Isles.
I don't know if it was that one.
No, that came out in '84, so it couldn't have been.
Yeah,
that.
it was 88, 87, whatever, 88. Not 88, 82. What shit? When did
It came from
I think it was
Hollywood.
82.
it came from Hollywood?
It
Yeah,
came
that's
from Hollywood. Yep.
Yep.
With Aykroyd
Yep.
and Cheech and Chong, I think,
Yep.
and John Candy or somebody.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. I went to see that instead. And he came out of it and he's like, Michael Myers isn't even in it. I'm like, oh, well, I'm glad I didn't see it. But yeah.
Technically, he is in the movie.
Well,
There's
yeah.
with him on the television screen.
Yeah, he's on a TV
Right.
screen.
Yeah,
Right.
Might get technical. Yeah.
That's true. All right. That's my pick.
90 Days to Halloween. Halloween.
All right. My next pick is a pick from 2008, and it's called Gutter Balls.
Oh, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Never heard of it.
I've never heard of that one.
Ryan
Oh,
Nichols.
Wow, Kenny, you're blowing my mind. You're Mr.
Ryan
I
Nichols.
don't know anything about horror.
I watched this. Thank God I have Shudder, because Joe Bob's been helping me out watching these, and it's basically
See you, Patrick.
See you, Patrick.
See you, Patrick. Thank you.
The kid's father, fresh me if I'm wrong, Brian. The kid's father owns a bowling alley,
Mhm.
and there's a maniac killer loose in the bowling alley,
Mhm.
and there's some awesome kills in that bowling alley that
It's
happened.
been quite a few years since I've seen it, but yeah, I remember it being pretty
Oh, okay.
gruesome.
Yeah, so I recommend that one if you haven't seen it.
Yeah,
It's a
never
little
heard of it.
bit, yeah. I don't know where. I usually check them to see, but that one I added last because I had just I did a refresher course today and was watching Jim Bob and went on Shudder for refresher courses on slasher movies.
Joe Bob.
Joe
Bob.
Everybody
Joe
keeps
Bob.
calling him Jim.
Not Jim Bob.
All right. I started that.
Joe Bob. Yeah, and Gutter Balls is on Fawcett.
Ah.
Actually,
So
just
if you want.
I actually just picked up one of his other films. I just got in the mail yesterday. Famine. I haven't watched it yet, but this is
Okay.
the same director. I think this is also a slasher film, from what it looks like. But I haven't checked that one out yet, so I couldn't tell if it's good or not.
Who's the director?
Ryan Nicholson.
Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very good pick.
Kenny, you are impressing with your picks.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Good job. Good job. Good job, Kenny.
I did do a lot. I didn't do as much homework as I did for the last show, but man, this one I did a lot.
You know, I brought a bunch of titles out here just because I figured you were going to be picking some of these mainstream picks, so I was going to put them up for you. And
Oh,
it's like,
okay.
You're going with these ones
you're
I've never
sweet.
heard of. I feel like an asshole.
I'm just glad somebody heard of something. That's why I'm like Brian. The first person I said we got to get Brian.
Oh yeah,
this
absolutely.
was like no brainer.
Yep.
So
Well, now we're gonna.
Yep, you're up, buddy.
you're up, bud.
So now we're gonna go to the grocery store, guys. 1988's Intruder.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Never seen that one either.
This is directed by Scott Spiegel. Stars Sam Raimi and his brother Ted and Danny Hicks, Renee Estevez, and a special appearance by Bruce Campbell. So
Nice.
this is about a grocery store that's going under in Michigan, and there is a killer inside the grocery store. So the synopsis is a little weird though, because the place is shutting down, yet the night crew is there restocking the shelves. It's very strange. Like, what the hell's going on,
Right.
with you guys? Like, but yeah, there's a little twist. I'm sure if some you guys, Jim, you've seen this.
Yeah,
right?
I've seen it.
You know what the twist is.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. Who the
No, I
killer
like that
is.
movie a lot. I like that movie a lot.
The ending's very like. From what I remember, the ending was like okay.
Eh,
Not sure what's going on there, but yeah,
it's fun until then.
yeah. That's when you finally see Bruce Campbell at the end of the movie, from what I remember.
Yeah, I believe you're correct.
Yeah.
Also available on Tubi, boys.
But the kills in here are really like gruesome and gory. So definitely highly recommend checking this one out if you haven't seen it before.
Yeah, it's
I've
fun.
heard of it. I've never seen it. I'm going to check that one out.
It's a lot of fun.
Also, there's two different versions of it. This is the director's cut version. I also have the other version.
That's impressive. You got two versions of that. I never.
There's
even heard
this
of
one,
it.
and then there's another one that I think who put it out? Umbrella? No. It's an Australian release, but I forget who put it out. But this is the one I actually watched. So
Is that the better of the two?
from what I remember, yeah. But this one has more special features on it than the other one does.
Okay.
Yeah. So Synapse release is definitely the better version.
Cool.
Nice.
Awesome.
Alrighty. Which one to choose? I think we'll go with this one. I've talked about this one way back when we were doing, I think it was underrated horror movies or top 10 horror movies or whatever, and I was going to have this as a recommendation of the week that week, but we didn't actually do that. But this one is from 2012, I believe, if I'm looking at this correct. 2013, sorry. It's directed by Rui Kitamura, who is a Japanese director who directed Versus and The Midnight Meat Train, among other movies. And this one's called No One Lives.
Mm.
It stars Luke Evans. And this movie kicks every form of ass there is. It is bloody as hell. It's practical. And unlike most of these films where it's an anonymous killer and you don't know who he is, and he more or less doesn't talk in most of these films. Okay, Jason doesn't talk. Michael Myers doesn't talk. Luke Evans doesn't wear a mask. You know exactly who he is from the beginning. And not only does he talk, he's one of the most charismatic serial killers you'll ever meet. As a matter of fact, he says, I'm not a serial killer. I'm this and that and the other. And it's just, he's fucking awesome. Okay, this guy, he steals this movie. You can't take your eyes off of him. It's just, if you get a chance, this one's on Fossum. I remember that was the night that we found out about
It's
Fossum.
also available on Tubi.
And on Tubi.
Yeah,
Check this movie out if you have not seen it. It is over the top, but it is so much fun. And like I said, Luke Evans is phenomenal as the killer in that movie. So No One Lives.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the best WWE movie ever, without a doubt.
Oh,
that I've
wow.
seen, that I've ever seen. Yeah.
Perked my interest.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why
Nice.
I didn't see it originally, because I thought it was a and I'm like, I don't want to watch no damn wrestling movie. And no, it's not a wrestling movie at all.
You're a bitter
And-
old man.
Yeah, well, hey, it is what it is. But I'm telling you, that movie is fucking awesome. It's right up there with The Condemned, because The Condemned is a good movie too.
Oh, yeah. Stone Cold one.
Yeah.
I think that director did Godzilla Final Wars too.
He did a Godzilla movie. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's the one, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Sarah has actually shared with us her entire top 5 list in the chat.
Okay.
Nice.
She started with her top favorite is Benny Loves You. It's like Elmo Halloween.
It was
I've
pretty funny.
Yeah, I've heard about that one.
Funny movie. Yeah.
And what was the other one?
Salt X was really good. I did watch that.
That's probably the best.
Oh, it's like
Saw
Elmo
sequel
Halloween
since,
and
like
Saw.
the third one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then her other 2 were Child's Play and Psycho.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very good. Good pick.
list, Sarah.
And she also said that she loves Sleepaway Camp, and she has No One Lives.
Good for you, Sarah. Oh, excuse me.
Oh,
You got so excited by that. Interesting.
Texas said The Condemned is a ripoff of Battle Royale
Absolutely.
without
But it's
kids in
fun.
it.
Yeah, but it doesn't have Stone Cold in it, Texas. So,
It's got Vinny Jones in it, you know.
oh,
so-
Vinny Jones, come on, he's a
I'll watch anything with fucking Vinny Jones.
yeah,
That guy's awesome.
that dude's a man. When you look up man in the Vinny Jones is there.
Oi!
He is such a great character, and some of the I'm sorry we're getting sidetracked, but when he's in a movie, he only needs a couple minutes because he just like fills up. He just like eats the scenery when he's in a movie.
Well, he was in Midnight Meat Train.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hunt Down Midnight Meat Train.
Yeah.
He's the killer.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he
Yeah.
doesn't say a word until the last scene of the movie. He's got like one line of dialogue.
wow, nice.
But it's all in his face, you know, his expression. And yeah, he's terrifying in that movie.
That's a great movie.
It's an awesome movie. I love
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah, that's definitely.
That movie got buried at the theater, but it's
It
worth
got
putting on.
it got done wrong by Lionsgate.
Yeah.
They totally screwed that movie. But that's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, we should do movies that got the shaft at the theater.
Yeah.
All right, my pick is from 2008. My next pick, and I have it on this triple feature. It's Midnight Movie. It's the one at the bottom, which you can't probably see because it keeps fading in and out. Midnight Movie from 2008. Basically about a group of horror fans that attend a midnight screening of an old slasher film, only to realize that the killer from the movie has somehow come to life and is hunting them down. It's actually he's escaped from an insane asylum.
Well, that was a good one. Is that
see
sort
that?
of reminded me like Popcorn, right?
Kind of. I saw Popcorn once a long time ago, and I don't remember much about it.
I seen that on Joe Bob too.
Oh, cool.
I was thinking of Last Action Hero, the way you were just
Oh, okay.
like they're watching a
Yeah,
horror
they
movie
kinda-
and suddenly the killer comes out.
It's been a minute since I've seen it, but it's kind of imaginative. It is sort of like Last Action Hero, where the people are taken into the film, and the killer comes out of the film and chases them around. It's a little hard to describe. It's kind of imaginative. It kind of falls apart at the last 15 minutes, but I still liked it. I thought it was imaginative and kind of cool, and it was interesting to see like a low budget horror film try something kind of ambitious instead of just putting a bunch of half naked women and slicing them into pieces and doing that kind of crap. But the writing was kind of cool, and I kind of thought it was original. It's a early 70s horror film, sort of like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre type film that the killer was in. He's the star of the movie, and then he escapes from an asylum and kind of goes back into the movie. It's kind of weird, but it's cool.
Check that out. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's just called Midnight Movie.
Cool.
Have you seen that one, Bryan?
It's been a long time, but yeah, I have seen that one. Probably since 2008, so I definitely need to give it a rewatch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
think I got that. I think I bought that on Hamilton Book, Sean, when that was on Hamilton Book.
It shows up on like compilations a lot. So it's probably pretty easy to find.
All right. My next one. Yeah.
I can't wait.
You thought the other one was knock your socks off? This was a movie that I bought probably about 4 years ago from Melissa and Larry at my Dollar Tree when they did the Dollar Tree things. And this is called The Last Showing with Robert Englund. It's a 2014 movie.
Never heard of it.
It is available on Tubi.
I've heard of it,
And
but didn't see it.
this movie is so good. 5 friends they're invited. So it kind of reminded me of Popcorn a little bit. They're invited to a screening to a movie. Okay. Well, it's the person, the kid's mom is the star of the movie. And it's basically her getting killed in the house that they live in.
Yeah.
So they have to go and get out of this movie theater. Well, Inglet locks everything down, and the guy from Iron Fist is the star, Finn Jones. He's one of the guys in the couple, and they have such great slashes, great kills in that one. So, and it's called The Last Showing.
So, not only has he stumped us, he saw a movie that Bryan hasn't seen yet.
I have it, but
you haven't seen it yet.
Watching that,
Oh.
no.
Kenny, you're just, you're like a fucking Renaissance man. It's the rope-a-dope. Oh, I don't know anything. You guys are gonna have to help me. And then if we get on there and he makes his look.
Well, you can't say I just walk in here with my damn Don Johnson good looks and just plop my ass in. I do homework, but that one, I highly recommend you guys watching that, The Last Showing, and it's available on Tubi. But I did get it at the Dollar Tree.
Awesome. No,
That's cool.
Awesome, dude.
It's funny because the plot sounds strangely similar to Midnight Movie, sort of. Yeah. Which I just praised for its originality, and then you pick a movie that's almost exactly like.
Is it The Final Girls? Is that the one that's also similar? Like this woman was in a movie, and then yeah. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's what it says for the plot. A couple trapped in a cinema are manipulated into becoming unwilling actors in a film being captured by CCTV cameras.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so
okay. There you go. That's
not quite the same.
All right.
Okay.
All right. That makes a little more sense then. All right.
Okay.
Because like I said, The Final Girl sounds kind of like, what Sean was talking about, the other one, the Midnight Movie or whatever.
Yeah, Midnight Movie.
Similar.
The synopsis for Midnight Movie is a midnight showing of an early 1970s horror film turns to chaos when the killer from the movie emerges out of the film to attack those in the theater.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. All right.
Well, then I guess I'll talk about it now. Then, so you guys. Final Girls.
Sorry, Brian.
It's like reverse.
Could ruin a surprise.
It's like a reverse of what you just talked about. So they go to this anniversary screening of Camp Bloodbath, which I guess one of the girls, her mom was in it.
Yeah, her mom was in it.
Yeah, her mom was in it, and she had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
They were sucked into the movie to survive this dude right here.
Yeah.
So this is more of a horror comedy, if you guys like that kind of thing. But
yeah, it's a meta movie.
I had fun with this movie.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it if you guys like horror comedies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that movie's awesome.
It's got, what's his name? Adam Devine in here.
Mm-hmm.
This guy right here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's from Righteous Gemstones.
Now, I thought they were supposed to make a sequel to this, but they never did. Like, the ending of this is like a cliffhanger ending. So you don't know if they're going to make another one or not, but they never did.
Bastards.
I mean, it's fine. Not everything needs a sequel, but...
Yeah, that's true.
Cliffhanger endings.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
No, great pick. Sorry I stole your thunder there.
Well, you're good. You're good. I think the last one I got is going to be one you might have seen too, Jim, but we'll see.
All right, well, since Kenny's gone so off the rails with the avant-garde stuff, I'm going to stick to the mainstream shit. Because, again, I brought this stuff out here thinking that Kenny might pick it, just in case we needed a visual aid. But I'm going to go back to 1981. And this one is a Canadian slasher. There was a lot of those. But this one might be the best as far as quality and kills and story and acting and everything goes. And it's one of those holiday slashers. You got Halloween. You got, New Year's Evil, Silent Night, Deadly Night. How can you not have My Bloody Valentine?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is my Scream Factory Steelbook. I absolutely love these Steelbooks from Scream Factory with, the artwork on these things are beautiful. And this movie's phenomenal, especially the unrated cut. It is just gruesome, violent. But again, like I said, the story's good. The acting's good. It's just a good movie. And it has been remade. Yeah, there you go. There's the alternate slipcover. Yeah, I like that. It has been remade. Yeah, there's the original artwork. But it was remade into a 3D movie, which actually was kind of entertaining. It was more entertaining than I thought it would be. A little more campy than I think, definitely more campy than the original. But it was fun. And it's, as far as, remakes go, it's one of the better ones. But the original can't be beat, in my opinion. It's like it's definitely a top 5 slasher for me.
Yeah.
So, My Bloody Valentine.
That's a good one. I remember watching that one on HBO a long time ago. And yeah, like you said, the remake is pretty good too.
Yeah.
I believe Tom Atkins is in the remake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the Supernatural guys is in it. Because the other Supernatural guy was in the remake of Friday the 13th, and they both came out at about the same time.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's a show I've never gotten into. A lot of people have recommended it, but I've never gotten into it.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I don't think I've actually seen a full episode.
Really?
Yeah.
You okay, Kenny?
I'm fine. I'm just like listening. I'm like, I've never heard of that movie, so I don't have any comment.
Okay.
Oh, My Bloody Valentine?
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Oh, that one's iconic.
I was sitting down here like looking at the synopsis of it. So if I'm silent, I'm not ignoring you guys. I just never heard of it to comment.
Yeah, no, that one's pretty iconic.
Yeah, that's one of the early 80s classics. Yeah. All right. My fourth movie is my most recent one. It's from 2022, and it's probably the longest movie that we've got here. It's Terrifier 2, which is probably unusual that it's 2.5 hours long.
2.5 hour long slasher movie. That blows my mind.
Wow.
Yeah, and you would think. I mean, a lot of people are like, "Why is it that long?" It didn't seem like it was 2.5 hours long to me. But the reason I picked it is Art the Clown is fast becoming one of my favorite of the new horror killer icons. Like Michael Myers and whatnot, and it's because of David Howard Thornton, his performance. He doesn't say anything, but it's all because of his facial expressions and the way he does his physical comedy. The kills are absolutely brutal. I mean, absolutely ridiculously brutal.
Especially part 3, the big opening scene of part 3.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
But especially with part 2, I know that it was made for very little money. I wish I could tell you what I just saw. My wife is naked. But it was made for like $500,000, I believe, and the quality is not compromised at all. It looks like a big budget film, and the effects look fantastic. And it really looks like it belongs up in the upper echelon of horror films. And the story, I don't know. The Terrifier 3 is probably stretching it a little thin, and Terrifier 4, I guess they're gonna give away the origin of Art the Clown in the first 15 minutes. So
it's gonna be the last one too, apparently. From what I'm hearing.
Yeah. So I hope that's true, but
we'll see. We'll see what it is. Yeah.
Art the Clown in space.
But I think of all the Terrifier films so far, this one is the best, just because everything that works for the series is at the top notch in this particular entry. You don't have to see the first one to get anything out of it, to know what's going on for this one, because they sum it all up in this. And Lauren Lavera is in it, and she makes an excellent faux for Art the Clown. And I don't want to sell her short.
She's awesome.
Yeah, playing Sienna Snow, I think is her full name. But it's just great. But the kills are just ridiculous. They're just, if you're a fan of kills, like gruesome old school practical effects kills, I don't think there's anything out right now that's beating Terrifier. At least nothing that's on my radar. Bryan, you can you can totally correct me.
No, you're pretty much on point at the right now. I don't know. I
Yeah.
haven't seen anything coming out that's more brutal than that.
Yeah, that's practical effects anyway, because you can do whatever you want with CGI. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Terrifier 2, top 5.
I have a question on that movie.
Sure.
How did they make a movie for $500,000 today? I mean, and I've heard people say it was really good and it looked good. It didn't look cheap,
Mhm.
you know. But how can they make something like that and especially have all the effects that they have? You know,
Friends and volunteers.
Well, Damien Leone, the guy that wrote it, directed it, and is the main guy in the special effects department.
There you go.
Probably cuts a few corners by not
Okay.
putting things on the balance sheet. But
Right.
But I mean, we've all seen like cheap movies. I
Right.
mean, when there's like just like any Wild Eye movie,
Mhm.
for heaven's sakes, and they got to give those guys some money. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe not, but I was just curious. I haven't seen any of those movies, so I
Yeah.
don't know. I know who the guy is.
Yeah.
500 grand for Wild Eye is like Marvel money. Come on now.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. What is the average budget for a Wild Eye movie? Seriously, does anybody know?
Bryan,
I couldn't tell you. I gave up on Wild Eye years ago.
Yeah.
$1.50 and a 6-pack of beer.
Well, there's a couple Wild Eye movies that are, to me, they're good, but majority of them are awful. Like,
Right.
no interest whatsoever.
Yeah. Those kind of movies are usually so badly made they're unwatchable. I mean, they might even have a good story at the heart, but they're so poorly filmed that I can't sit through them. But you would not know that it was made for $500,000. There's just no way.
wow.
Yeah, I've never seen any of the Terrifier movies, believe it or not.
Yeah.
That's still a very big hole in my filmography. Let's put it that way.
They're not for everybody, but they're.
I love gore,
Yeah.
but the only reason why I haven't seen them is because I've heard that's more or less all they are. It's just nonstop kill after kill after kill after kill, and getting more and more extreme as it goes. And I don't have a problem with that, okay? As long as there is some sort of
Smartness to it.
not even smartness, just some sort of plot, I mean,
The
again,
first
I haven't seen
one,
them, so I don't know,
the first one, there's not really much of a plot. It's basically you're kind of wondering who Art the Clown is and why he's doing what he's doing, and you don't really get an answer. Terrifier 2, he comes back, and they try to put sort of a mythology around him, but they don't really explain it very well. And you're still left wondering what the fuck's going on. And then the third one gets even weirder. The kills get even weirder, but the mythology gets even more bizarre. So that's why I said, like, they're going to explain his origin in the fourth one. And I hope they do a good job of like wrapping it all up and making it make some sort of sense that isn't a complete waste of time. Because
as long as there's no slow motion, like Sherry Moon Zombie and a fucking white horse coming across the screen trying to explain the origin type shit.
It hasn't reached that yet.
Okay. All right.
But there's some weird shit in the second and the third one. So
Could somebody please explain to me what the fuck that shit meant in Halloween 2?
I have no clue.
Brian, the floor is yours.
Couldn't tell you.
All right, for my last one, I'll go with another new one that I was really surprised by, and that's Thanksgiving.
I still have to say that too.
Yeah, I really liked that. I thought it was different. It was something that I never thought, but I really enjoyed it. Killings in a small town.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was pretty good.
It was the
Gina
Dempsey?
Gershon. Yeah, Patrick Dempsey's in it. He's
Yeah.
coming back for the second one, I heard.
Mhm.
Or Gina
Second.
Gershon's in
I think
it.
it's called Second Helping or something. I think it's called.
Oh, is that right? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Second Helping.
Yeah,
I
and
haven't seen it yet.
I had got it from our me and Sean's whatnot dealer, and he had it on sale, and I just picked it up. I thought it looked interesting because I was getting into it, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked it a lot.
I love the trailer from Grindhouse, the original Grindhouse trailer. Thanksgiving.
I really enjoy the artwork on the steelbook. The turkey.
Oh,
that's nice! I like that. That is really nice.
That's awesome. That's Eli Roth, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the pizza oven kill with Molly Shannon.
Oh yeah.
Molly Shannon. That was great.
Well, the trailer. I mean, I know they changed it in the movie, but the trailer with the trampoline, where they had like the knife going through the trampoline, and then this woman's doing the splits, and it was like, holy Jesus, I mean, apparently, like I said, for the movie, I guess they changed that gag, but in that original trailer, it was like the audience reaction to that was unbelievable. It was just unbelievable.
I loved all those fake trailers. Well, I shouldn't say fake trailers. Some of them actually were turned into movies.
Yeah, half of them have become movies now. Machete in that one. I want SS Women or SS She-Wolf of the SS or whatever the hell it is. The Rob Zombie one.
Rob Zombie one.
Yeah, with Nicolas Cage as Fu Manchu. I'll pay to see that movie right now.
Definitely.
The other one, Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that any good?
Not really.
It's
it
was okay. I thought it was
right.
okay. Yeah.
It's entertaining. Out of all the, I mean, again, I haven't seen Thanksgiving yet, but I've heard good things. But out of all those movies that came out of Grindhouse, Machete's definitely the best. I mean, Machete's great.
Don't text.
Yeah, Machete don't text.
Nice.
Yeah, good pick, Kenny.
Thank you.
So you held yourself well today, buddy.
I was just going to say, I think I did pretty well for not knowing too much about this category.
Oh, yeah.
It's a damn good list.
Thank you.
All right, my last pick for the night, is going to be 1987's Killing Spree.
Ooh. Haven't seen that one.
From Tim Ritter, who did Truth or Dare.
Okay.
I've seen that one before.
Yeah.
Basically, this is about what's his name? Tom. He suspects his wife that she's cheating on him, sleeping around with the neighbors. So he comes up with this plan to kill all the neighbors with using like killer ceiling fans and TV set and a screwdriver, a hammer, and a lawnmower. This movie is all over the place. It's like the dude starts like seeing stuff and he doesn't know what's real and what's not. So he's a very jealous guy. He just wants to kill everybody. The effects on this were done by Joel Harlow, who did Star Trek from 2010.
Oh, cool.
It's one of his early works. So I caught this at an Alamo theater on one of those Terror Tuesdays, and I just fell in love with this movie. It was just so campy and weird and cheesy as hell, but I would definitely recommend it.
When did that one come out?
87.
87.
Yeah, it's not
this particular release was from TerraVision.
Okay. Cool. I will try to find that one. Check that out. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, very good. Okay. I'm going to change what I was going to do here. All right. This one, we're going back to another holiday. There's a lot of holiday slasher movies.
Yeah.
Arbor Day?
Huh?
Arbor Day?
No. That'll be out next year.
There's no Arbor Day slasher movie?
There is an Arbor Day movie, yeah.
Wow. I was just making a joke for that.
No, there is.
But this movie came out in 1986. And this one was kind of controversial when it came out. A lot of people do not like this movie at all. And I love this movie. I've always loved this movie. It's directed by Fred Walton. It's got a great cast, including Deborah Foreman, Amy Steele. Talking about April Fool's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Love April Fool's Day.
Now, earlier we were talking about kills, and we don't like bullshit movies where they have kills off screen, where you just hear like a sound effect and some blood splashing and this and that and the other. And I made the joke saying, yeah, that's mainly because of a PG-13 rating. April Fool's Day is like that for the most part, and it's an R-rated movie. But there's a reason why it's like that. And I don't want to give away, I mean, the movie's 40 years old. I don't want to give away spoilers, but you should know by the title what the spoiler is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good one. And I think the movie is entertaining as hell, mainly because of the cast. I think the cast is great. Deborah Foreman is one of my all-time loves. I've been in love with her for years.
She was
and
great.
Amy Steele, I still think, is one of the all-time greatest final girls from Friday the 13th Part 2.
Yep.
With the exception of how every 2 seconds she goes, Paul, Paul, Paul. If you did a drinking game for every time she fucking says Paul in Friday the 13th Part 2, you would die of alcohol poisoning in 10 minutes. I shit you not. Okay?
Yes.
I digress. Okay? She's great in this movie. And again, a lot of people don't like April Fool's Day. They think that it wusses out at the end. They think that it's a bullshit ending, this, that, and the other. And I say, fuck you. I think it's an extremely entertaining movie. So that's my last pick of the evening, April Fool's Day.
Cool.
It's available on Pluto, guys.
Oh, cool.
Pluto. I've never seen it.
Oh, and it's got one of the greatest one sheets of all time. Look at that.
I remember seeing
yeah.
That is like
Ryan
that is
O'Neal's
such a
son's in
great
that, right?
poster. Huh?
Ryan O'Neal's son's in that, right?
Yes, Griffin O'Neal.
Yeah.
And Clayton, what the hell's his name? Clayton
Rower?
Yes, he's in it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of good young character actors in this movie.
Yeah, I remember seeing the trailer for it, and that poster was iconic at the video store.
Yeah.
The actor that played Biff from Back to the Future is in that too. Yes.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think that movie's entertaining as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Good pick.
Thank you.
I can't remember if I've seen that recently or not. I know I saw it back in the day when things were on HBO, but I don't remember the last time I saw it. So I'm glad you didn't spoil it because I don't remember what the ending is. So
it holds up. It holds up really well.
Oh, yeah.
It really does.
That's awesome. All right. My last pick is from 1974 and directed by the same guy that did A Christmas Story.
Yep, I know it's coming. As soon as you said 1974.
Black Christmas.
That started it all.
Yep. I didn't see this till fairly recently. I watched it about 2.5 years ago. And it's one of those movies that relies not so much on the scene more than the unseen. There's a lot of stuff that happens off screen.
Yeah.
I don't remember the kills being graphic or anything like that. Everything is pretty much off screen. It's got some humor to it. Margot Kidder's in it, and I think she's really, really good in it.
Olivia Hussey.
Yeah, she's
in
fantastic in it. Yeah.
She has passed.
Yeah. Rest in peace. And Andrea Martin from SCTV is in it.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Cara Delay.
Yeah.
From 2001.
Right. Yeah, and 2010. It's just the thing that I think is cool about it, though, is it's one of those movies that features college age kids as the main characters, but it doesn't dumb them down like the later slashers do, which turns them all into sex maniacs. They're actual adults with brains and functioning intelligence, and it's really, really good. And I don't know, I think the thing that really gets me about it is the obscene phone calls that the guy makes to the house. Those are kind of unsettling. That kind of gets you. So, yeah.
It's Billy.
Yeah, that's creepy as hell. I watched this movie on my iPad in a dark room while lying in bed.
Smart man.
Yeah, I was real smart. But it's hilarious to think that this is a movie directed by the same guy that did A Christmas Story.
Yep.
Also did Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, but if you don't know that.
Yeah. But his most frightening movie was Rhinestone.
Yeah. And Porky's.
But no, that was a hugely influential movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean that's really one of the first slashers. I mean, it was 4 years before Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, and you were saying that the college kids were smart and they were intelligent adults. Yeah, because they're from Canada.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, very true.
I didn't think about that. I didn't put that together.
Take that, American audiences.
But no, Black Christmas is great. Now that I don't like the remake, and I know it's been remade like 2 or 3 times, and I've only seen one of the remakes. Apparently, one of them's not bad, but I'll stick to the original.
Yeah, and the thing that I think is the thing that I wrote a review of Black Christmas 3 years ago, and I said modern audiences who've already seen the countless retreads or reinventions of it might find it quaint, but worse yet, they might think it's being derivative, and that's just sad because it's the one that, you know, a lot of the stuff that they're used to this is where it came from rather than the other way around.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I remember when Scream came out,
mm-hmm.
and a lot of people were talking about how that movie was directly inspired from When a Stranger Calls.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always like, yeah, but When a Stranger Calls was directly inspired from Black Christmas.
Right.
And a lot of people forget about that, you know? I mean, yeah, very influential movie.
Yep.
Good.
All right. Well, we are at 8:22.
Got some honorable mentions?
And I have my classic list that I would have picked if I was just doing a mainstream list. So I'll just throw them out there.
Okay.
Real quick. And it's funny you mentioned Scream because I have Scream from 96.
I have that set.
Yeah.
That's one of the 3 movies and the 2 docs.
Yep.
And those are the only Scream movies I own.
The Inside Story.
Yep. Those are the only ones I own.
Yep. I have Scream 5, I think it is, but I got it in a lot with a bunch of other movies, and I have no intention of watching it.
I haven't actually seen the new Scream movies, any of them. Scream 4 left such a bad taste in my mouth that I was like, you know what, I'm done.
I watched 5. I haven't watched 6. So
yeah, I mean, I heard good things about the new ones.
5 was
but
okay.
Again, I don't like reboots and remakes and shit, you know?
I disliked Scream 3 enough to turn me off.
Yeah. See, that's why I went to Scream 4 like very, you know, and as soon as I walked out of it, I was like, damn, I should have stopped with the third one, you know? The third one sucked, but the fourth one's worse.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay, so Halloween. Nice.
You knew that was going to be on there. And it's funny because Bryan picked the first one. I picked the second one.
Nice.
Because it's the beginning of Jason as a killer. And I knew this would be on your list, so I didn't pick it.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street. But I would also go with Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Dream Warriors, yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2, I saw that one in the theater, and there's a documentary about it called Scream Queen.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
Yes, I have.
It's very, very good.
Yes, it is. It's horrible what happened to that guy.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. I follow him on social media.
The writer's kind of a douchebag, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's an asshole.
he was kind of a douchebag. I'm sorry, you know.
Yeah, very much so.
But yeah, I did see that doc.
Yeah, I follow him on social media. He's been going through a lot, but he seems to be getting better.
That's good.
Good.
In Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Surprised nobody said anything
nobody
about
brought that up.
Yeah, I was surprised nobody mentioned it. As far as influences go, Black Christmas and Chainsaw Massacre, 2 of the big ones. But which is funny because I did not see Black Christmas or Texas Chainsaw Massacre until much later after I watched, you know, I got started on Halloween. That's the one that started it all for me.
Yeah, me too.
And got me into slashers, and then, you know, Funhouse and My Bloody Valentine.
I think the first slasher that I saw, and it was at the drive-in, and I own it, and I didn't bring it out here because at the time I loved it, but now I think it's a piece of shit, is Prom Night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there is more fucking disco dancing in that movie than Saturday Night Fever. I swear to God, man. I mean, and what the hell happens to Leslie Nielsen in that movie? He's introduced as like so-and-so, the principal or whatever, and then he disappears, and you're never to be seen again. It's not like he's dead or he's just gone.
Yeah, maybe he had disco fever.
I don't know, man. Prom night sucks. But I remember seeing that at the outdoor at the time and thinking it was great.
Yep.
So do you have honorable mentions, Kenny?
I do. I have two, as a matter of fact. And what Terror Train. I like Terror Train.
Nice. I almost grabbed that one.
Oh, okay. And the other one is one of my favorites. This one was always on cable all the time, and I loved it. Savage Streets.
Oh yeah, with
Linda Blair.
Linda Blair.
And her deaf sister.
Yeah.
That gets unfortunately attacked.
Linnea Quigley.
Yeah, is that who that was?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Linnea Quigley, like her movie debut, maybe.
In her debut,
I believe. I don't.
Wow, it's amazing that she didn't stop after that one.
I might be mistaken, but I'm kind of sure I'm right on that.
And the other one was Tenebrae.
Oh wow,
that's Argento.
Yeah, Argento.
Yeah. Nice.
And those were thanks to Joe Bob. I watched all those on Shudder to prepare for
Texas. Nice.
That's funny.
How about you, Brian? You got some?
I got plenty. I mean,
I'm sure.
That's why he's here.
Listen, Brian, educate us, especially me. Go ahead.
Slaughter High.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Never seen it.
It's kind of the same. That's kind of like an April Fool's Day movie as well, but not exactly.
Right.
Kid gets tortured in school, and then he gets his revenge, basically.
Nice.
But yeah. Slaughter High. The story about the main actor in this is very sad. He was going through depression. He ultimately decided he didn't want to live anymore. So.
Bummer.
Fortunately, that happened before the movie even came out too.
Wow, that sucks.
1986. Speaking of Scream, I have the other Scream. 1981.
Yeah.
This is a weird one.
Yeah, that is a weird one.
I haven't seen that one.
It's let me look here real quick. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it's basically these people are going on a raft. They come across a deserted town, and someone's there. They don't want them there, so they destroy their raft. So they're stuck there, and then they get picked off. That was a fun one.
So it was a Christmas movie.
Yeah. He's being funny.
Yeah.
Kind of just like landed like a lead balloon.
I didn't say it was a Christmas movie.
Yeah. Speaking of chainsaws, we have Pieces. Bastard.
I saw that one at the drive-in. And when that ending happened, man, I was like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah. This is crazy.
That one's notorious, Kenny, if you've never seen that one.
I've never seen it.
That one's on Shudder. I know that one's on Shudder. Or at least it used to be. That's a Joe Bob special.
It's on Tubi.
And then I got
yeah.
Then I got a Vinegar Syndrome one that some people don't enjoy. I bought this as a blind buy, and I actually ended up enjoying it. From 1987, we have Night Screams.
I've seen that, but I don't remember it.
You remember this artwork?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I do.
Yeah. This is just like I believe it's a serial killer. He's hiding in the house and no one knows he's there, and then he just starts picking everybody off one by one. It's like a graduation party, if I'm not mistaken. Like a high school graduation.
Again, Brian? I'm sorry.
Night Screams.
Night Screams.
Night Screams. From 1987. Yeah, someone's in the house picking everybody off one by one.
It's funny, like when you went to the video stores, like we all did as the kids say, back in the day. You remember the boxes and the artwork, but I've never seen any of these movies.
Want a date? Want a date?
Oh, Frankenhooker, that was I remember that one.
No,
that
those are-
Slaughter High artwork, I remember seeing that every single time I went to the
Video
Yeah.
store.
video store, and I still never rented it. I still haven't seen it. I've never seen Pieces either.
Pieces is it's a movie. And like I said, that ending is like I'm not giving anything away. It's wild. I'll just leave it at that. It's wild. Yeah.
And I have a modern slasher, but it's like an 80s vibe called Lost After Dark.
Hmm.
From what year is this from? 2015. It's about these group of kids. They sneak out of their high school dance to check out this old abandoned farmhouse, and there's like an urban legend about this serial killer that lives there, but they think it's bullshit. It's not. It's real.
Of course.
The funny thing is, though, I guess the principal of the school is Robert Patrick.
Oh,
No way,
He-
really?
He goes out and tries to save them because he knows that it's true. So he goes out and tries to save them.
nice.
That's right. There he is.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, yeah. Recommend that one.
Cool.
I got my pick for later. The end of the
Yeah,
show.
the recommendation.
Yeah,
We'll do that at the end. Yeah.
Okay. Again, I could list, 20 that, I adore, but I only brought a couple out here. Now, this one's a remake, but I would say this one is fine. But if you get a chance to see the original and you haven't, please do. The original was from 1980. It was directed by William Lustig, and the effects were from Tom Savini. And I'm talking about Maniac.
Oh yeah.
But this is the remake from 2012, and this one stars Elijah Wood, of all people,
That's a good
and
one.
directed by Frank Calfoun or Faun or whatever, a French guy, I believe. But this is a remake of the original classic, okay? But it is different than the original, and the main reason why it's different, or the thing that it's most different, is that 90% of it is told from Elijah Wood's perspective. So you're like kind of looking at the world through his eyes a lot of the time of the movie, okay? And it's really effective, and it's really creepy, and the effects are great, but nothing beats the original. Tom Savini. I mean, Tom Savini's such a badass, he could blow his own head off on screen and it looks cool, So this
Joe
one's a double
Spinell.
feature. This one's a double feature.
Both of those are on Tubi, by the way. Maniacs.
Oh, nice.
Both Maniacs.
Yeah, the original Maniac was notorious when it came out. I mean, people were like picketing that movie. It was one of those unrated movies, and I remember Siskel and Ebert especially were just, if you go see this movie, you're gonna definitely go to hell. That sort of shit.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's a rough movie. I mean, this guy goes around killing women and then scalping them and making a a love doll out of them, so to speak.
Right.
I mean, it's not pleasant, but it's great if you like gore and the effects that Tom Savini does in Maniac. It's unmatched. It really is. This one's a double feature, and they both are actually decent. I like them both. Visiting Hours and Bad Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And what elevates these two movies is the villains in both. And in Visiting Hours, the killer is Michael Ironside. Which
Nice.
I'll watch Michael Ironside in anything.
Yep.
And the killer in Bad Dreams is Richard Lynch. And
Nice.
same thing. I will watch him in anything.
I like
And
him.
Bad Dreams is literally Dream Warriors without the other kids.
Huh.
It's about a girl, Jennifer Rubin, who was in Dream Warriors. Okay, she was the tough chick who had the needles in her arms. Okay, who OD'd. She is the only survivor of a religious cult that burned themselves up at the beginning of the movie, and Richard Lynch is the cult leader. And she goes into a coma for years, wakes up, and is in a psychiatric hospital trying to get her life back together. And she keeps on getting haunted with visions of the boogeyman coming to get her, and it's Richard Lynch. And people start dying around her. And it's literally Dream Warriors. It really is. Okay.
Sure.
Visiting Hours is your typical slasher movie. Michael Ironside is this, they'd call him an incel now, but he's basically a guy who hates women. He watches Lee Grant, who is a newscaster who does a editorial about women's lib that he gets offended by, and he attacks her, tries to kill her, doesn't finish the job. She goes to the hospital, so he goes to the hospital dressed as an orderly and starts stalking her. And William Shatner shows up in that one for about 10 minutes. Between the two, Bad Dreams is definitely the superior film, but they're both watchable. Okay. And the last one that I'm going to bring up that I have an actual physical copy of, the one I should have grabbed, but I thought somebody else would mention it. You mentioned Friday the 13th. You mentioned Friday the 13th Part 2. I'd go with the final chapter.
There you go.
It's final chapter is probably my favorite Friday. It is my favorite Friday the 13th movie. It's great. And again, Tom Savini makeup.
Mm-hmm.
But Kenny mentioned this one on his recent pickup video the other day, and he didn't know anything about it at the time. And I mentioned to him that a certain Tom Hanks makes his big screen debut in this film, and it's called He Knows You're Alone from 1980. And for stalker movies, this one's pretty tame. This one's not really all that bloody. It's more of a suspense movie than a horror movie, I would call it. But the hook on that one is the killer was jilted at the aisle, and now he goes around stalking brides-to-be and kills them right before they get married. And the main character is getting ready to get married, and she's convinced that somebody is following her, and people start dying around her, and blah, 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 blah. Okay? Besides the Tom Hanks thing, the thing that movie, if any, that would probably be most known for, have you ever seen Scream 2, Kenny?
No. I've just seen Scream 1.
Okay. The very beginning of Scream 2, they're watching a movie which is called Stab, and it's supposedly the first Scream, okay?
Oh, okay.
And the girl gets killed in the movie theater. She gets stabbed and gets up and starts dying around her, and people don't realize that it's real, okay? He Knows You're Alone. There's a scene in a movie theater where this woman is sitting there watching the movie or whatever, and the guy's behind her and stabs her right through the seat, and nobody knows it. And that directly inspired that sequence in Scream. So that's the last of my honorable mentions.
Yeah, I only seen Scream because the person that I went with wanted to see it. She was a Drew Barrymore fan. I guess she was kind of upset.
Well, that movie was marketed brilliantly because they made it look like she was the star of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like what's her face, Janet Leigh in Psycho. You know, pull that bait and switch and pull the rug out, and the original Scream's great. I mean,
she turned to me and she goes, "Is she coming back?" I said, "She's fucking dead."
Where's
she coming back?
No, Scream. I mean, a lot of people shit on Scream. Okay. And I think the original Scream is like one of the best horror movies from the last 50 years. And it totally reinvented the horror genre, whether people want to agree to that or like it or not. The only problem I've got with Scream is that it influenced and inspired an entire generation of copycat films with young TV series casts and urban legend, movies like that.
Yep.
And there was so many of them after, I Know What You Did Last Summer, a lot of that shit. It's like, I don't like any of those movies.
Yeah.
But I love Scream, the original one.
They all came out with these self-aware type slasher movies or whatever, and they all had the same formula that they thought they were being clever, and some of them are even written by the same guy.
Yeah, Kevin Williamson got an entire career out of those, which again, it's fine. I'm not holding it against the guy or whatever, but at the same time, every one of those movies, I mean, they all had like all these young casts from the WB or the UPN or whatever network was hot at the time. Yep. And it's like, they were just disposable. Kind of like 20 years earlier in the 80s when all the slasher movies were coming out. There was a couple of great ones, and a lot of them were just disposable.
Right.
Brian can help me with this one. I don't know if you guys will know this, but I heard that the first season of Buffy, written by Williamson, was supposed to be all individual movies for like a franchise, not a Buffy franchise. They were all like rewrote. Apparently, these were like scripts that had been like laying around that he had done like when he was a teenager and like mid-20s, and I forget where I heard that from. It was like a podcast or something. And basically, like the first 12 episodes of Buffy's first year, he had to write all the scripts because they were just basically scripts that he had laying around since he was like 18.
See, I didn't know Kevin Williamson was involved with Buffy.
I thought it
Josh
was
Whedon.
Josh Whedon.
Oh, Josh Whedon. That's it. Josh. I'm sorry. Not when you brought that name up. I'm sorry. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I
said you're wrong.
No, it's like I had just like listened to a podcast about it, and he had said because Whedon's the guy that did Firefly, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is awesome.
Yeah,
Yep.
that show was great. But yeah, I don't know how true it is. I just brought it up to see if Bryan knew anything about it. I'm sorry about confusing the names.
sounds familiar to me about Joss Whedon. Yeah.
I've never watched Buffy, to be honest.
Yeah.
I
saw the movie.
I was too old for
Me
that.
too.
Yeah, I seen the original one with Luke Perry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's her face?
Christy Swanson.
Christy Swanson. Yeah.
Yams. Rutger Hauer, Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
What was that movie? Christy Swanson was it?
Deadly Friend.
Deadly Friend.
Deadly Friend, where she killed a woman with a basketball.
Oh yeah.
It's like one of the greatest deaths ever.
Yeah. Yeah, the little boy from Little House on the Prairie was in that movie, right? That's Deadly Friend. He was the boy in that?
Christy Swanson was the main. Oh yeah. The kid.
Matthew
Her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Mama Fratelli.
Yeah.
Anne Ramsey.
Yes.
Anne Ramsey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and Splat. I worked at the theater when Deadly Friend came out, and people were laughing during that movie. Okay, I mean, just laughing. But when that basketball scene happened, people lost their fucking minds, and it's one of the greatest kills in horror history, in my opinion. It's just so. If the rest of the movie was half as good as that moment, that movie would be a classic. I mean, it really would,
Yeah, I remember when that came out because I was in high school.
Yeah, it's not good. It's one of those Wes Craven movies that sounds better in theory than execution.
Yeah.
And I love Wes Craven. Don't get me wrong, I love the man, but he made some, up and down movies. For every Nightmare on Elm Street, there was like My Soul to Take. You know what I mean? And then you'd have shit in the middle like Vampire in Brooklyn.
He did Shocker, right?
Yes, and I love Shocker. I almost brought Shocker out here tonight.
Oh, okay.
That was one of the ones I almost brought out.
Deadly Blessing.
Yeah. Sharon
Serpent
Stone.
and the Rainbow.
Yeah.
Serpent in the Rainbow is very underrated in my opinion.
I love
that movie.
Yeah.
It falls apart in the last 15 minutes, but it's a great movie.
Yep. That was a VHS rewind and rewatch all the time movie for quite a while.
That was a theatrical movie for me. We had that one at my theater, and the scene where, what do you want from me? I want to hear you scream. I mean, people were sitting there in that movie theater just squirming. That whole fucking sequence, and oh yeah, I love that movie. It's great.
A great movie. I'm way overdue for a rewatch on that one. Oh man. All right, we made it to 8:45, so it is time for movie recommendations. So
Movie
Kenny,
recommendations.
you know what that
we
means?
need a cool song for that.
I know I should come up with one. Not
He died of AIDS.
It's time for Kenny's movie to be of the week.
To be of the week, and this is an actual good one too. I it's not
As opposed to most of the crap you recommend.
What was the Asylum one? Snow
White and the Seven Samurai or whatever
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah, this one's an actual good one though, and it's a walk amongst the tombstones with Liam Neeson.
Yes,
it's a Larry Block Matt Stutter character. I read his books, and I I really, really enjoyed this. The scenery's really good. I'm a big Liam Neeson fan, if you know me anyway. And I really enjoyed this movie. The scenery's good. It's got like a nice dark kind of like in grim kind of like picture to it. It's not like very glossy. And I think Neeson did a really good acting job in this one. It's called A Walk Amongst the Tombstones.
Yeah,
Read the book. The book gets more in depth than the movie, though.
I just added that. I found that one at the Goodwill last week. My sister's got it, so that's why it wasn't part of my pickup video today.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah, that is
Dan
really
Stevens
good.
is really good in that.
Yes.
And David Harbour is really good in that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a solid movie. It really is.
Yeah.
Good pick.
I went on a Neeson run last year, and I haven't watched it yet, but
that's a really good one, and it's on Tubi, guys. So you're not losing anything with it.
Yeah, it's on Prime too.
Oh, okay.
oh, cool. Better be on Tubi, Kenny. Every week you're
Yeah. Yeah, I was
That's why they're not.
I just like looked down and it said Tubi movie of the week. It's like, oh, sorry, it's not a thing.
better let me know if it's not on Tubi.
Yeah, it is what it is, and it's really good. I watched, as a matter of fact, I watched it last week to prime for this episode. See, I did a lot of studying for this movie.
Yeah, good for you.
Good prep work. Good prep work. I'm proud of you, Kenny.
Thank you.
Bryan, you want to go up next?
Yeah, I got another like horror comedy slasher. It's a modern film from 2023. That is a film called Slaughter Beach.
Ooh.
It has like I know it's a summer vibe, but not really. It's about these two guys right here. They are down on their luck. It's summertime. They're trying to find a job. And then there's a killer on the beach just wreaking havoc and just killing people left and right. He's a crazed fisherman, as you can see. And so they're all like, they're dumb, kind of like Tucker and Dale versus Evil dumb. You guys have seen that movie.
Oh yeah, I love that.
So you'll probably get a kick out of
Yeah.
this movie. They come across this girl. I guess she was a victim, or she was a potential victim, from what I remember. So the three of them are trying to work together to bring this guy down. It's just a lot of like, and then the fisherman has a lot of like one-liners. It's ridiculous, like stupid one-liners. So yeah, definitely recommend you guys check out Slaughter Beach if it's available on streaming. I'm not sure if it is.
Tubi.
Nice.
There you go. Tubi.
I will definitely check that out.
That's what Kenny
I'll
would
check
say.
it out.
Tubi, not a sponsor.
Tubi. Not a sponsor.
TV not a sponsor. No,
Fit
Tucker
right
and
in,
Dale's
Bryan.
awesome, dude. I tried to. I mentioned that
Oh, yeah.
one a couple of weeks ago to these guys and said that they need to check that one out. It's so much fun. Great pick.
Awesome. All right,
Okay.
Jim. what you got?
My last one. My recommendation this week is from 2007, and this one was directed by a filmmaker I'm not familiar with by the name of Scott Glosserman. It stars Nathan Basel, who is another guy I don't know, but he's phenomenal in this movie. Angela Goethals, and then Zelda Rubinstein, who is the little dwarf woman from Poltergeist. Scott Wilson, who is in The Walking Dead, among other things.
Rest in
And
peace.
Robert Englund, who is Freddy Krueger himself.
Mhm.
I'm talking about Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie
Ah.
Vernon.
Good movie. Yes.
This movie is phenomenal. And if you're not familiar with it, the general gist of this movie is in this world that Leslie Vernon's in, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, they're all real people. And he wants to be a serial killer like them. So he invites a film crew to come along, documentary style, to show the preparation that he takes to perform his masterpiece, is what he calls it. And this film crew does. They follow him around. And the more horror movies, especially slashers, that you have seen, the more you will enjoy the first half of this movie, because it is an Easter egg filled with love for people that love those types of movies. Like, how do you always constantly catch these people when they're running and all you do is walk? Well, cardio. You know how many calories you burn chasing these people, or how do you know that they're going to go upstairs? Well, they always do. I don't know. I always leave one door open, but they never go there. It's shit like that. And it's like, It's brilliant, okay? But then about halfway through the movie, it flips. And suddenly you go from this feel-good, fun movie to a straight serious horror movie, slasher flick.
Nice.
And it's great. The second half is just as good as the first half. And this is one of those movies that the first time I saw it, it came out of nowhere. Some guy came over to my house, was like, "Hey man, I don't have any weed. If you get me high, I'll get you. I'll have you watch this crazy movie." And I was like, "Why not?" And he threw this on, and I fell in love with it. And yeah, it's one of my favorite movies from the last 20 years. So, Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon is my pick for my recommendation this week.
Awesome.
That is on AMC Plus. If you guys don't own a physical copy like myself, so.
Yeah, on DVD it's available as like, you can probably get it for a couple of bucks, but I got the Scream Factory Blu-ray.
Cool. Awesome. I've heard nothing but good things about that, but I have never watched it. I've passed it over I don't know how many times. But yeah, I'm gonna grab it.
Yeah, I think you'd really enjoy it.
Okay, cool. All right, my pick is from 2019. It is the remake of Child's Play.
Oh.
Still haven't seen it.
I went in thinking it would be terrible, based on the way the Chucky doll looks. But it's actually they did a good job updating it for modern times. Basically, Chucky is now sort of an internet connected, internet of things device. What'd you say?
Megan.
Yeah. Aubrey Plaza's in it. Mark Hamill does the voice of Chucky. He's no Brad Dourif, but he does a good job. But they change it enough to make it interesting and fun. Is it better than the original? Not quite, but it's still worth seeing. So it's my pick for the week. The ending, but it kind of runs out of gas at the end, but I still think it's worth watching, and it's a lot of fun. So, but I think there's one main difference about this one that isn't present in the original that I think makes all the difference to make this one make sense. And I won't say what it is, but it has to do with behavior in kids and the internet. So
yeah, I haven't seen that one
That's
yet.
available on Max.
Okay. Yeah, Texas.
I generally don't like remakes, but based on your recommendation, I'll check it out because you have pretty good taste in movies. So if you say it's worth watching, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. So it's worth
Bryan,
it.
did you see that one?
Yeah, I've seen it. I saw it in the theater when it came out.
What do you think? Be honest.
I agree with you. It had good parts and parts that was just like, what am I watching? But I think I gave it a 3 out of 5. But I didn't hate the film. I really didn't hate it. Actually, some of the later Child's Play movies I don't particularly care for all that much overall. Like, I think the last one, Cult of Chucky, that was like my least favorite one. To be honest,
I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah, I think the last
Curse was good. Curse was good with Brad Dourif's daughter Fiona.
Yeah,
but Cult, I'll take it or leave it. Didn't really need to be made. Honestly, the TV series I haven't even checked out. So
I haven't watched that either.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
No,
I think Seed is the last one I saw.
That's the last one I saw. That was what, 2004?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bride is the last one that I own. I own the first 4, but I don't own Seed. But that's the last one I saw for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think? Since we got the horror guy here, I got to ask.
Okay.
What do you think is the best horror remake that you've seen?
the best remake.
Yeah. Not including. Let me rephrase that. Not including the ones from the 80s. So like The Thing, The Blob, The Fly. Those don't count. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say from like the last 20 years or so, or last 25 years or so.
I'd probably have to say the first It, Chapter 1.
Nice. I didn't even think about that as a remake, but yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's
Chapter
good.
1. Chapter 2 is whatever, but the first one, I really enjoyed that one.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you, Brian. What's the future of horror?
Clive Barker. See, now Kenny doesn't get that joke, but you two do, so that's good.
I did see Hellraiser, right? He's Clive Barker's Hellraiser.
Yes,
Yep.
and that was the
Candyman.
tagline. Was a quote from Stephen King saying,
Oh, okay.
"I
I've
have
seen
seen the future of horror. Its name is Clive Barker." So that's why I said that.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Gotcha.
40-year-old joke. Sorry.
It would have worked if it went over my head, so still had the fishing pole to get. But yeah, I was just curious. I mean, is there a market out there for a franchise horror, or is it going to be more independent? And the independents were streaming because it seems like Shudder and what's the LJL
LJLE or whatever.
Yeah, they put out primarily a lot of the horror stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably say more independent because you've seen the franchises, they make like 2 movies and then they stop. They try to make new. They try to come up with these new like franchises and they just don't last. People lose interest these days.
And there's always going to be a future of horror because historically, the 2 types of movies that always do well are horror and children's movies.
Oh yeah, sure.
There's always a market for those 2, you know. And even when horror, supposedly died right before Scream came out, there was still plenty of horror going out then. It just wasn't, slasher movies, for instance.
Right.
But there was definitely horror movies at the time. And even now, one of the biggest hits this year is Sinners.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an original movie, and it's an original horror movie, and it's an original R-rated horror movie.
Yeah.
That damn thing's made like over $200 million domestically alone.
Right.
So there's a very big future for horror. I don't think horror is going anywhere.
No, I think it's here to stay, but it's definitely
in the shittier.
We're going to see less franchises and more just one-off movies.
Yeah, but the shittier things are in the world, it seems the more popular horror is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like it had a big renaissance during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
People were watching a lot of horror because they had anxiety issues and this and that and the other.
Plus, I think a lot of it comes from it's comfort for people too.
It is for me. It always has been for me.
I mean, there's like a lot before I got into it. Like I didn't understand it, and then I was watching like Bryan, his brother. There was a couple, Al Lucard or something. He's a YouTuber too, and I got into watching their videos and like slowly, getting into it. It just never. Other than Dream Warriors, I never got into like the horror stuff. But I'm glad I did. It's kind of interesting genre.
Yep, disembowelments are like a warm whoopee. See, you got that joke, Kenny.
I did, Mr. Mom. I want my whoopee.
It's always nice to come home after a long day just to throw on a horror film you haven't watched in forever or something new, just to take your mind off the world,
Right. Yeah. I think it's a great stress reliever.
It's nice to see somebody with bigger problems than what you got.
Yeah.
You're not being chased through the woods.
Yeah. At least you're not being chased by somebody with a giant knife.
Yeah.
Not this week.
Wow. Not this week. Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, thanks for coming on, Brian.
Brian,
thank you, Brian.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge.
Awesome as always, buddy.
Yeah, I literally have 2 pages of movies thanks to you guys to investigate.
You're the one that came up with all the ones pulling out of your ass that I never heard of before.
But there's like, but there's like a lot of them. Like I never heard of Slaughter High. I remember seeing seeing a poster. Slaughter Beach. Yeah.
But I mean, gutter balls. I was like, what the fuck,
Oh, okay. We can thank Joe Bob Briggs for my list tonight. Going on his show.
Hey, that guy's a national institution.
I
Yes,
love
he
his
I
show.
love that guy.
That's the only reason why I have Shudder is to watch him in Diana on there.
Yeah. If that's going to be your resource for horror, that you can't pick much better than that. He's fantastic.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could do a lot worse.
Yeah.
You could do a lot worse.
Yeah.
See, I had
thanks for-
Fangoria. That was my guide to horror.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yep.
I mean, that was like the Bible every
Yep.
month it came out. And my friends would be looking forward to, like, Hit Parader. And I'm like, fuck that. Where's the Fangoria? You know?
Yep, the new Fangoria. Yep. I wish I still had them. I had, like, in the Prime days, I think I started buying it from the second issue on, and I had them all. And I pitched them all for some stupid reason.
I lost mine in a fire with my posters and everything
Oh.
else. I had that Scanners cover. I mean, I had the Scanners cover.
Oh.
Oof. Oh, well.
Texas, further proof that Kenny is the Yam King.
That's right.
Kenny, you were like the fertile soil where the seeds of horror could be planted and take root and sprout, and we've got a brand new horror fan. So
sowing the seeds of love.
Something like that.
Tears for Fears thing.
because literally out of the top 5 that you picked, 2 of them I'd never heard of or seen. So
Oh wow. Okay.
that's pretty awesome.
Hey, I'm here to educate you guys.
We bask in the glow of the king. All hail
Believe me,
the king,
I
baby.
figured you were gonna go, oh, that's a piece of crap, or like that. And I'm just like thinking, but that out of all of them, I really enjoyed that Robert Englund movie, the last showing. I really enjoyed that one a lot.
I'll definitely check it out. Bryan, is there anything that you want to plug or promote or
just
let us know
follow my YouTube channel. You
Great
guys
channel.
probably put the link in the description, and then I have my Instagram is the same. So
Okay. Sounds good.
Yep.
Definitely good to have you back, buddy. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
We'll definitely
Thank
have
you.
back.
I'd love to
Thank you
come
for
back
being on.
anytime. So
All right.
Absolutely.
We'll get you on here one of these days without a horror related topic, just to mix it up.
Yeah.
We're
I
gonna
got-
go. We're gonna go to Bryan for rom-coms.
hey, I got a few rom-coms I enjoy. Not a lot.
Oh, there you
There's
go.
a few. There's a few.
How do you feel about interpretive dance?
I don't have any opinion on that. But
we got to get
Neither
you.
do
And,
we.
we got to get you and Bryce on to view Lambada, the Forbidden Dance.
okay, we'll look into that for you.
But really, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks,
bud.
Thank
Bryan.
you.
We
Yeah,
really
thanks for being on.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
To everybody in the chat, Texas, I saw you come in there, Corey. Thanks
Yes,
for being
Texas,
in.
Corey. Mr.
Thanks,
Sarah,
Stan,
Stacy,
Sarah.
Mr. Dan, Texas throwing out John Saxon's name. I forgot to throw that up there. So Patrick was here, Victor, everybody. Thanks for being
Mike.
on.
You guys
And
are awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
And Mike. And just a shout out, in not the next show, but in 4 weeks, we will be our 1-year anniversary.
Wow.
So just keep
Your
that in
1 year anniversary.
mind. It's the show's 1-year anniversary. You're still part
I didn't become the other woman until a month later. So
the other woman. My wife has been Kenny, you should know about this. My wife has been clamoring for a John Hughes special, and I know she put a bug
I
in your
want
ear.
that. Yes, Lori, you're right. I want that.
2 hours of hearing Kenny talk about Curly Sue.
That's an underrated movie.
Hey, I enjoyed that
Kelly
when I
Lynch-
was a
Kelly
kid.
Lynch
Yeah.
in that is
Yeah.
really beautiful in that movie.
So I don't know that we'll do that for the 1-year special, but we do have to put it on, or I'm going to get lynched.
Hey, I'm
So-
all for John Hughes. John Hughes was great.
Maybe
Yeah,
we can have
good
Lori
point.
as the special guest.
I tried to get her to come on, and she refuses.
Oh, come
Oh.
on,
Well,
Lori.
she just said maybe. She just said maybe.
All right, cool. That's a 1-year anniversary, Lori.
Ba
Come
ba
on.
ba boom.
All right. Thanks for being on the show, Bryan. Everybody, thanks for being here. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with a show that is yet to be determined. So,
That's right.
as always, we'll see you next
See you
time.
guys.
Take care, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.